Welcome to the Adjusting to Life in the U.S. webinar. This section will cover Adjusting to Life in the Fulbright T program, Cultural Adjustment, U.S. Demographics, U.S. Values, Time Management, Smoking in the U.S., Personal Space, Sexual Harassment, Social Media Expectations, Personal Safety in the U.S., Interactions with Law Enforcement in the U.S., and Final Questions. As mentioned previously in the pre-departure orientation webinars, the Fulbright T program is an intense academic and cultural program that will require participants to adapt to program requirements in various U.S. environments. The good thing is that preparation can help to manage the cultural adjustment, and participants will also receive assistance on the program by IREX and host university staff. This diagram represents the stages of cultural adjustment that a person tends to go through when they live or study in a country other than their own. While not all people go through all the stages shown here, the graph reflects the way you might feel when you first arrive in a new and unfamiliar place with different traditions and lifestyle patterns. At first, you will probably be filled with excitement, but then culture shock can set in. If you experience culture shock, you will think fondly and often of your life in the home country and may miss out on opportunities provided during the Fulbright T program. Remember that host university staff and other participants can be a great support system if culture shock affects you. Over time, people with culture shock grow more used to their new surroundings and feel more comfortable. It might be surprising to hear, but when you return home after being in the U.S. for an extended period of time, you may experience reverse cultural adjustment. Reverse cultural shock stages are very similar to those of regular cultural shock. With time, however, you will once again feel connected to your home environment. Think about another time in your life when you faced a significant change. For example, you moved to a new community, started a new job, visited a different country. What strategies did you use to adjust and succeed? Many of these same strategies might help you to adjust to life in the United States. Please pause the video and take 2 or 3 minutes to reflect. There are several different ways to handle adjustments. You should find a friend to share your experiences with, take care of yourself and stay healthy, talk to your host university coordinator or IREX program administrator, observe others and their action, keep an open mind, be patient, ask questions, and keep a sense of humor. In addition to being familiar with the stages of cultural adjustment, having prior knowledge to the new cultural norms and expectations can help reduce cultural shock. U.S. culture may be very different from your own culture. It might be exciting or challenging. Let's take a look at the U.S. cultural and education environments to help you prepare. The U.S. is a big place with a lot of diversity within it. You will each have different experiences, geographic conditions, encounters, and adventures based on the state that you are in. The school systems may also look different based on each city and state that you're in. U.S. values are not universal among all Americans, but in general these are ideals that Americans live by. Informality, directness, and punctuality are values where you might see a cultural difference between the U.S. and your home country or territory. You may see particular values expressed to your host university as well as in everyday interactions. The next few slides we will review some key outcomes and expected behavior as it relates to U.S. values. You should be prepared to have a very busy schedule, full of many academic and cultural activities. It will be important to look at your university's calendar and syllabi to make sure you plan enough time to accomplish everything. Fulbright T is an intensive program and you will have many responsibilities at your university and field experience school. You're expected to participate in all scheduled program activities, including actively engaging at your U.S. school field experience for the duration of their typical day. Smoking is prohibited in most public buildings, including university and school campuses. This prohibition is often enforced with fines. Smoking is often not allowed in private homes. Cigarettes are expensive. They are an average $8 per pack. If you smoke, be prepared for comments about the unhealthy side effects of smoking. A few things to keep in mind. Americans prefer to have more personal space than people from some other cultures. Many Americans like personal space. Americans only enter another individual's intimate space if they are close family or friends or in a small geographic area like a bus. In the U.S., in professional or academic situations, it is inappropriate to comment on the physical appearance of your colleagues. While in the U.S., you might observe Americans hugging, holding hands, kissing each other, or sharing personal information with one another, especially in mixed-gender environments, like U.S. schools and universities. Please note that in the U.S. culture, Americans only engage in this type of behavior with people that they are very comfortable with, and only after both individuals have given each other permission, consent to do so. Making sexual advances toward people from whom you do not have consent, permission, can create intimidating, hostile, or offensive environment. Examples of sexual harassment include sexual invitations or comments about how a person looks, sexual jokes, unnecessary touching of another person's body without their consent, repeatedly pursuing someone who is attentive to you or trying to avoid you. Kissing, hugging, patting, or stroking can be considered sexual harassment, and this behavior is not appropriate with children. And U.S. schools, physical contact with students is prohibited. If you feel uncomfortable about the behavior of a colleague, it might be sexual harassment. If you feel you have experienced sexual harassment, please tell one of your staff at your host university as soon as possible. As part of your field experience, you may be given the opportunity to interact with teachers and students via social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or other online platforms. Please keep in mind the following. Contacting students via Facebook, email, or other virtual platforms, i.e. SMS, is not permitted unless it is required and approved by the field experience school and/or the host university. Any violation of this policy is grounds for immediate dismissal from Fulbright T. Keep all online interactions with professors, colleagues, partner teachers, and program staff strictly professional. Please note that all online communication is recorded and traceable by school officials and parents. Social media communication with a minor, a person under the age of 18, and any student regardless of age is strictly prohibited. Social media communication with students regardless of age is prohibited unless it is required and approved by the field experience school and/or the host university. After completing the program, you will become a part of the Fulbright T program alumni community, with access to opportunities and online resources from the Department of State and IREX. You will be able to access the alumni.state.gov page, which is a wonderful resource for all program alumni. The communities that you will be in at your host universities are generally safe spaces, but it is always best to know steps one can take to increase one's safety in a new environment. General safety tips. Do not carry large sums of money, over $100. IREX will issue you a PNC card with stipend refunds upon your arrival. Keep the card in a safe place at all times, as IREX cannot guarantee replacing funds from a lost or stolen card. Do not leave bags unattended. They may be viewed as a security threat, especially in airports. Be aware of your surroundings. Shopping stores in the United States are often protected with surveillance cameras. There may not be a store employee nearby, but you may be recorded. Remember to keep all of your items in a cart or basket and do not place them in your bag until after you have paid. We do not expect any participants to have interactions with American law enforcement, but should the situation arise, these are guidelines for how to interact with police officers. We rely on police officers to keep us safe and treat us fairly. If you interact with a police officer, keep in mind the following. Stay calm and be polite. Do not interfere with or obstruct the police. Do not lie or give false information. Do not resist arrest. If arrested, you have the right to make a call. You will participate in a virtual global community with other participants to collaborate and share educational practices. OBA is IREX's cloud-based online education platform that you will use to stay connected with IREX and Fulbright T participants. You can use the OBA platform to access a number of resources and to connect with current participants and to participate in online forums. After completing the Fulbright T program, a new section of OBA will open up to you specifically for teacher training alumni from other teacher exchange programs, including Fulbright DAI for international teachers and Fulbright TGC for U.S. educators. IREX has put together a website to provide you with information about your fellow Fulbright T Cohort 1 participants. We will also share this information on the OBA platform. Please open the website in your browser using the link below. The Welcome Workshop at your host university will provide essential information about the program and will include sessions related to tips and strategies for a successful Fulbright Tea experience, cross-cultural adaptation and strategies, program logistics, and administrative details, and more. Your host university and IREX will provide support to you throughout the Fulbright Tea program. Thank you for participating in the Fulbright Tea webinars. Please email fulbright@irex.org with any questions.